Imagine a meeting of two contrasting worlds, one steeped in ancient spiritual wisdom and the other brimming with modern rationality. What happens when a rebellious, inquisitive young man meets a mystic who claims to have seen God? In today's episode of our audiobook series on the biography of Swami Vivekananda, we delve into the profound and transformative relationship between Narendranath, the future Swami Vivekananda, and his spiritual master, Sri Ramakrishna. This is a story of doubt, faith, and an unbreakable bond that would shape the destiny of one of India's greatest spiritual leaders. Stay tuned as we explore how this extraordinary mentor-disciple relationship unfolded. The meeting of Narendra and Sri Ramakrishna was an important event in the lives of both. A storm had been raging in Narendra's soul when he came to Sri Ramakrishna, who himself had passed through a similar struggle, but was now firmly anchored in peace as a result of his intimate communion with the Godhead and his realization of Brahman as the immutable essence of all things. A genuine product of the Indian soil and thoroughly acquainted with the spiritual traditions of India, Sri Ramakrishna was ignorant of the modern way of thinking. But Narendra was the symbol of the modern spirit. Inquisitive, alert, and intellectually honest, he possessed an open mind and demanded rational proof before accepting any conclusion as valid. As a loyal member of the Brahmo Samaj, he was critical of image worship and the rituals of the Hindu religion. He did not feel the need of a guru, a human intermediary between God and man. He was even skeptical about the existence of such a person, who was said to be free from human limitations and to whom an aspirant was expected to surrender himself completely and offer worship as to God. Ramakrishna's visions of gods and goddesses he openly ridiculed and called them hallucinations. For 5 years, Narendra closely watched the master, never allowing himself to be influenced by blind faith, always testing the words and actions of Sri Ramakrishna in the crucible of reason. It cost him many sorrows and much anguish before he accepted Sri Ramakrishna as the guru and the ideal of the spiritual life. But when the acceptance came, it was wholehearted, final, and irrevocable. The master, too, was overjoyed to find a disciple who doubted, and he knew that Narain was the one to carry his message to the world. The inner process that gradually transformed the chrysalis of Narendra into a beautiful butterfly will forever remain, like all deep spiritual mysteries, unknown to the outer world. People, however, noticed the growth of an intimate relationship between the loving, patient, and forgiving teacher and his imperious and stubborn disciple. The master never once asked Narain to abandon reason. He met the challenge of Narain's intellect with his superior understanding, acquired through first-hand knowledge of the essence of things. When Narain's reasoning failed to solve the ultimate mystery, the teacher gave him the necessary insight. Thus, with infinite patience, love, and vigilance, he tamed the rebellious spirit, demanding complete obedience to moral and spiritual disciplines, without which the religious life cannot be built on a firm foundation. The very presence of Narendranath would fill the master's mind with indescribable joy and create ecstatic moods. He had already known, by many indications, of the disciple's future greatness, the manifestation of which awaited only the fullness of time. What others regarded in Narain as stubbornness or haughtiness appeared to Sri Ramakrishna as the expression of his manliness and self-reliance, born of his self-control and innate purity. He could not bear the slightest criticism of Narain and often said, "Let no one judge him hastily. People will never understand him fully." Ramakrishna loved Narendranath because he saw him as the embodiment of Narayana, the divine spirit, undefiled by the foul breath of the world. But he was criticized for his attachment. Once a troublemaker of twisted mind named Hazra, who lived with the master at Dakshineshwar, said to him, "If you long for Narain and the other youngsters all the time, when will you think of God?" The master was distressed by this thought, but it was at once revealed to him that though God dwelt in all beings, he was especially manifest in a pure soul like Narain. Relieved of his worries, he then said, "Oh, what a fool Hazrat is! How he unsettled my mind, but why blame the poor fellow? How could he know?" Sri Ramakrishna was outspoken in Narendra's praise. This often embarrassed the young disciple, who would criticize the master for what he termed a sort of infatuation. One day, Ramakrishna spoke highly of Keshav Sen and the saintly Vijay Goswami, the two outstanding leaders of the Brahmo Samaj. Then he added, "If Keshav possesses one virtue which has made him world famous, Narain is endowed with 18 such virtues. I have seen in Keshav and Vijay the divine light burning like a candle flame, but in Narain it shines with the radiance of the sun." Narendra, instead of feeling flattered by these compliments, became annoyed and sharply rebuked the master for what he regarded as his foolhardiness. "I cannot help it," the master protested. "Do you think these are my words? The Divine Mother showed me certain things about you which I repeated, and she reveals to me nothing but the truth." But Narain was hardly convinced. He was sure that these so-called revelations were pure illusions. He carefully explained to Sri Ramakrishna that, from the viewpoint of Western science and philosophy, very often a man was deceived by his mind, and that the chances of deception were greater when a personal attachment was involved. He said to the master, "Since you love me and wish to see me great, these fancies naturally come to your mind." The master was perplexed. He prayed to the Divine Mother for light and was told, "Why do you care about what he says? In a short time he will accept your every word as true." On another occasion, when the master was similarly reprimanded by the disciple, he was reassured by the Divine Mother. Thereupon he said to Narain with a smile, "You are a rogue. I won't listen to you any more. Mother says that I love you because I see the Lord in you. The day I shall not see him in you, I shall not be able to bear even the sight of you." On account of his preoccupation with his studies or for other reasons, Narendra could not come to Dakshineshwar as often as Sri Ramakrishna wished. But the master could hardly endure his prolonged absence. If the disciple had not visited him for a number of days, he would send someone to Calcutta to fetch him. Sometimes he went to Calcutta himself. One time, for example, Narendra remained away from Dakshineshwar for several weeks. Even the master's eager importunities failed to bring him. Sri Ramakrishna knew that he sang regularly at the prayer meetings of the Brahmo Samaj, and so one day he made his way to the Brahmo temple that the disciple attended. Narendra was singing in the choir as the master entered the hall, and when he heard Narendra's voice, Sri Ramakrishna fell into a deep ecstasy. The eyes of the congregation turned to him, and soon a commotion followed. Narendra hurried to his side. One of the Brahmo leaders, in order to stop the excitement, put out the lights. The young disciple, realizing that the master's sudden appearance was the cause of the disturbance, sharply took him to task. The latter answered with tears in his eyes that he had simply not been able to keep himself away from Narendra. On another occasion, Sri Ramakrishna, unable to bear Narendra's absence, went to Calcutta to visit the disciple at his own home. He was told that Narain was studying in an attic in the second floor that could be reached only by a steep staircase. His nephew Ramlal, who was a sort of caretaker of the master, had accompanied him, and with his help, Sri Ramakrishna climbed a few steps. Narendra appeared at the head of the stair, and at the very sight of him, Sri Ramakrishna exclaimed, "Narain, my beloved," and went into ecstasy. With considerable difficulty, Narain and Ramlal helped him to finish climbing the steps, and as he entered the room, the master fell into deep samadhi. A fellow student who was with Narain at the time and did not know anything of religious trances asked Narain in bewilderment, "Who is this man?" "Never mind," replied Narain. "You had better go home now." Narain often said that the old man, meaning Ramakrishna, bound the disciple forever to him by his love. "What do worldly men," he remarked, "know about love? They only make a show of it. The master alone loves us genuinely." Narain in return bore a deep love for Sri Ramakrishna, though he seldom expressed it in words. He took delight in criticizing the master's spiritual experiences as evidences of a lack of self-control. He made fun of his worship of Kali. "Why do you come here?" Sri Ramakrishna once asked him. "If you do not accept Kali, my mother, Abba, must I accept her?" Narain retorted, "Simply because I come to see you. I come to you because I love you." "All right," said the master. "Ere long you will not only accept my blessed mother, but weep in her name." Turning to his other disciples, he said, "This boy has no faith in the forms of God and tells me that my visions are pure imagination. But he is a fine lad of pure mind. He does not accept anything without direct evidence. He has studied much and cultivated great discrimination. He has fine judgment." As we have seen, the meeting between Narendra Nath Datta and Sri Ramakrishna was no ordinary encounter. It was the coming together of two souls destined to transform each other and the world. In our next episode, we will delve into how Sri Ramakrishna trained Narendra, not through blind faith, but by embracing his skepticism and guiding him through profound spiritual revelations. We'll witness the trials, teachings, and transformative moments that molded Narendra into Swami Vivekananda, setting him on the path to greatness. Don't miss this incredible chapter of how a master shapes a disciple in ways that are as surprising as they are inspiring. Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.